welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, September 30th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows a good deal of cloud cover, especially away from the deserts. The marine layer is very deep this morning, so much so that the cloud pattern is a little bit ragged, and it will likely be a slow and non-uniform clearing process across the south coast today. Here's a look at rainfall amounts from yesterday. As expected, they were pretty light overall, with a few spots on either side of a quarter inch or locally higher across the Sierra, but many areas staying dry as well. There have been no significant changes to the forecast for this week. Over the next few days, we expect to remain in between troughing off the west coast and a building ridge over the desert southwest. That is going to keep us on the tail end of a couple of weather systems working their way into the west coast, keeping temperatures cool and keeping some light rain chances in the forecast. However, the rain chances still don't look too exciting overall. The next 3 days in particular will feature a lot of dry hours, even in central California, though there will be some spotty light showers and sprinkles around. We'll likely see some resurgence in the shower activity towards Friday, with increased coverage across the Sierra and the northern deserts. But Southern California will remain dry, save for some patchy marine layer drizzle at times. Despite the light rain amounts, this remains a cool pattern thanks to all the clouds and onshore flow. Here's a look at today's forecast highs. They are similar to yesterday, and we continue to expect little change in temperatures over the next several days. Valley highs will be mainly in the upper 70s to mid-80s, with 80s in the high desert and upper 60s to low 70s in the lower mountains. Minimum humidity will remain mostly above 30% all this week, with continued good overnight recoveries. The one change from our recent pattern is that with a downslope wind flow developing across the deserts, we will see the desert areas finally start to dry back out somewhat, with minimum humidities across the deserts dropping back into the teens starting today. The onshore flow will be gusty across the interior, as it usually is in these patterns. South to west winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 45 miles per hour will surface across the mountain ridges and desert passes through Friday evening. Elsewhere, winds will mostly follow typical local patterns that we see during onshore flow. One other wind item of note will come late Friday into Saturday as troughing temporarily shifts from along the west coast and offshore to being more over the Great Basin. As that happens, it will bring a shift to offshore flow and a period of breezy north to northeast winds, possibly resembling a weak Santa Ana event, is likely across Southern California during that time. However, the cool and moist conditions this week, combined with continued elevated humidity values even as the shift to offshore flow occurs, is expected to prevent any fire weather concerns. The brief period of offshore flow will bring dry weather on Saturday and likely into Sunday as well. But by early next week, all indications remain for a deeper trough to develop near the west coast. While this too does not look like a major rain event, it will likely bring additional shower chances and further cooling by late Sunday or early next week. So there remain no indications of any sustained periods of either warm weather or offshore flow over the next couple of weeks. With this cool and humid pattern remaining in place, and on the heels of all the moisture over the past few weeks, dead fuel moistures remain well above normal across the entire region, and that will remain the case through at least the next week or two. ERC values, which you see here, remain much below normal. We still have not seen a widespread seasonal green-up across the region, especially in Southern California, so we're still at a point where a couple weeks of warmer and drier weather could put us back in play for higher fire danger conditions. But as we've been harping on for some time now, the pattern has simply not been favorable for it, and there's no signs of that changing anytime soon. And as a result, our large fire potential is going to remain very low for the foreseeable future, with little to no probability for new large fires. It's possible we could see a very slight jump in potential on Saturday with that brief offshore flow, but in all likelihood we're going to be in this same territory for at least the bulk of the next 2 weeks. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, October 1st.